This next virtual CES guest provides news and analysis about wearables and mobile technology, all sorts of things for health and medical applications, and he joins us every week here on Into Tomorrow. It's none other than health tech insider Alfred Poor. Alfred, welcome back Into Tomorrow. Thanks for coming on with us. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm missing the free hors d'oeuvres that we get when we normally do this in Vegas, but
yes.
We'll make our own.
Very true. We do have those opportunities where we try to catch our breath, of which I'll never take for granted again. But anyway, where at press events, there's at least some refreshing beverages and hors d'oeuvres. We have to supply our own since it's the first virtual all-digital CES, and we don't get to see each other in person. But with the excitement of Zoom and the technology affording us, we get to have you on the program. And of course, not only do you publish a free website and newsletter about all kinds of health tech issues, but as I mentioned, you're on our show each and every week with some of the latest, bringing us into tomorrow with health tech, and we do appreciate that. But we're talking, of course, CES again this week on the program. And I absolutely am curious about some of the more interesting things that you observed during the virtual CES, and especially your separate TechFluence seminar that you did. You had a summit of all kinds of health tech experts. So share with us what you've learned the last couple of weeks.
Sure. Thank you. It was a little challenging this year being all virtual. Some aspects of the CES experience were better and some were lacking.
Yeah, to say it lightly.
I did get a chance to meet with a lot of different companies, some giant, big ones like Abbott and some of the big ones, but also a bunch of the people who would be down in Eureka Park, some of the little ones that you have to stumble across more or less.
Yeah.
And the one I want to lead off with is a company called Absolute Audio Labs out of the Netherlands. And I think you'll appreciate this because what they've got is they've got technology to help people who have impaired hearing listen to music.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cool? Because
that's very cool.
Hearing aids and stuff, they're about boosting speech. They're about, bringing up the highs to compensate for the high frequency loss. And then they digitally process the sound a lot in order to smooth it out and make it more intelligible.
Yeah.
But it absolutely trashes music. And if you love music, and I don't care what kind of music you love, and I love many different kinds, this is a problem. And so these guys, one of the founders played rock and roll for too many years, and his hearing's impaired, and he couldn't hear the music that he wanted to listen to cleanly. And so they've developed this technology to give you hearing boost for music, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's one thing to use the technology because of hearing aids and how we've come leaps and bounds as usual with tech to help people. But in this case, to have that particular advantage of letting people enjoy music, especially in this case, if you've missed it for so many years and you just can't hear it anymore, what a terrific idea it is. Yeah. And again, great that technology's providing that answer.
Yeah, it's a very interesting and novel use of the technology. I was very impressed with that. Another thing that I was really impressed with is this tiny little handheld.
Now, just for those listening on the radio, Alfred is holding up a little device that looks like a mini smartphone, but apparently it does some neat stuff.
Push a button,
okay,
and you'll see what it does.
All right.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Hello, how are you?
Wow, instant translating.
Instant. Now, a bunch of things. It also, you can't see this on the radio, but it's also translating it in text. So I could show you the text and you could see what I had said.
That's awesome. And imagine traveling around the world as we typically do and back in the good old days, and hopefully will again soon, and having, unfortunately, a medical issue, but not being able to communicate well. Thus, this becomes a very cool health tech item.
Well, it's cooler than that.
Oh.
Because this product has its genesis from a cruise ship called the Diamond Princess, which you may recall.
Yes.
That was the one of the early COVID outbreaks, and it was sailing around the Pacific, and it came into a Japanese port, and they wouldn't let anybody off the ship. And the problem was it was full of people who did not speak Japanese.
Wow.
And so the Japanese health ministry came to this company and said, help, our healthcare workers can't talk to the people who they're trying to treat. And so this product was born out of that. It was created from that. And since it's been created, they've given away hundreds and hundreds of these units for free to first responders, to healthcare systems, to things like that. And they're also making it available now. They've given a lot away to students who are learning remotely, studying at home.
Wow. Well, kudos to this company. And by all means, share with us what company is doing this, because I think
it's called the Pocket Talk Translator.
Pocket Talk Translator.
It's very, very cool. And I've forgotten what it is, like 30 or 40 different languages.
Wow.
That it does. And as you noticed, the latency, the delay between when I said something and when it translated was nearly instantaneous.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the problems with these kinds of devices is that they have to go to the cloud and back.
That's
and
true.
It can be very slow. You can have a couple second delay. The other thing is the form factor. This is easy to hold. I don't have to hand it to you. You don't have to touch it. And you can hear it, but you can also read it. A lot of the ones, it's 2 earbuds. So I give you an earbud to put in your ear. That's not going to happen.
No, exactly.
So it's the right form factor and the right technology, and it just works really, really cool. So that's one that I really like.
I like it by all means. Now, Alfred, can I assume that because wearables have become so popular and so ubiquitous everywhere, it seems, that continued to be a major trend during various CES opportunities this year?
It did, but one of the interesting shifts is that we've been moving this direction for years, but we're that baseline about fitness and exercise and being healthy, that still exists, but the health tech part has been greatly accelerated by the pandemic. Telehealth, needing to treat people, monitor people at home, remote patient monitoring, has led to all these wearables that already existed, but are now much, much more important. And so, the way I put it is the pandemic didn't make anything happen. It just accelerated things that were already in progress.
Yeah.
And this is a view that was validated by almost everybody I interviewed at CES this year.
Oh, wow.
One of the cool things about telehealth is that it's making it easier to get more information remotely that goes to the healthcare professional. Right now, a telehealth session, you get on a Zoom chat and they say, how do you feel? I feel okay, or I don't feel okay. But there's no there. There's no numbers. If you're sick enough, well, I guess you better come in. Well, one of the cool devices that I saw is a new thing called Healthy You. And it's still in prototype stage, but they're just about to go into production. I hope to get a sample of one to try out soon. But it's a little black cube. And it is built by a company that built some of the first smart stethoscopes. So they not only can digitize the sounds that they hear from lungs and heart and things like that, but they can record them, they can analyze them, they can put them up in the cloud where the physician can get at them. But they've built this in this tiny little box that you hold with 2 fingers on each side against your chest. And so it does all those recordings, but it also does a 7-lead ECG, a heart tracing of your heartbeats. And it does a bunch of other things, all in this little box. Doesn't need to be charged very often. So in order to be able to monitor the biometrics of a patient at home, it's going to give doctors a whole new tool, and it's not expensive either.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because we managed to interview their CEO, and he showed us on a Zoom interview this little device, and it is amazing all that it can do. And I think what's just as amazing are things that I guess we've both run across that can't do what people claim it can do. It's interesting to see what came out of CES. Some of it was, if you will, bull, to say it lightly. I know that you've experienced some of the same kinds of press releases that we get, and you went, oh, come on. No, you can't do that. And some of the media that doesn't understand tech like we do just ran with it. Oh, this is wonderful. Well, it's vaporware. It's poof. It's not even a prototype, so don't be touting things that aren't there. And I know you saw some items too.
One of those press releases that made a big splash at CES this year, and you go back searching through the news feeds and you'll find it all over the place, was from a Chinese company. And that's not a problem in itself. I mean, a lot of great tech comes out of China. Mm-hmm. But this one said that they have a way of measuring your blood sugar, your blood glucose level, optically, non-invasively. So you just hold a device up against your skin and it can read your blood sugar. Now, this is a holy grail for wearable health tech. People have been pursuing it for years. Google, if you may recall, tried to invent smart contact lenses that could get your glucose level out of from your tears. They spent a lot of money on that and a number of years on it, and they closed it up because they couldn't get it to work. It turned out that tears were not a reliable source of data. But there's lots and lots of companies that are working on this, that are trying to make it work. And so when a company claims that they've got it working, that's news, and that's legitimate news.
Yeah.
The problem with this case is it was not. And I followed up with the company when I saw the press release and asked a couple pointed questions, like, when is the shipping? Well, the answer came back with, well, we don't actually have a prototype yet. Oh. Okay, well, where's the scientific basis for this? Well, we don't have any studies that shows this works yet.
Oh my gosh!
So what's your roadmap? Well, we're looking for partners to help us develop this.
Oh, great! So it's just a thought.
So that's a very different story than what was presented by the general media.
Yeah.
And so it's a shame, and it's it's hard. I understand these people got a big job to do in terms of getting the news out. They don't have a lot of time, and they're not paid a lot of money. But this is one where I know something about the story that they're putting out there, and they stub their toe pretty bad.
Oh,
and
for sure.
It doesn't do anybody any good to put news out like that.
For sure. Well, we know that we only get good, accurate, vetted news from you each and every week, not only on the program here on Into Tomorrow, but when you visit healthtechinsider.com, you'll see what Alfred and his team are doing on a very regular basis to keep us well informed about technology involving our health. And there's always new stuff to talk about that's not vaporware, that is actually working or will be very soon with good test results. Alfred, always a delight to have you on the program. We thank you for spending a few minutes with us during our CES coverage, and we will look forward to more and more. I know you're going to be talking about a lot of cool stuff in the coming weeks.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for giving me the time to join you.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. Alfred Poor, the editor of healthtechinsider.com. Do check him out. Sign up for his free newsletter as well, because it's fascinating, the kinds of stuff. Every time I open his newsletter, I'm wowed by something else. It's like, really? I didn't know we could do that, or this is going to be really helpful to a lot of us. Do check it out. healthtechinsider.com. We'll get you there too, because we have links every single week from the broadcast when you visit us at intotomorrow.com. I'm Dave Graveline. Much more from this year's virtual, sometimes ho-hum CES on Into Tomorrow, right here on the Advanced Media Network.